Hi there everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for my new subscribers joining the channel. Thank you for all your comments and your likes, it is deeply appreciated. I'd just like to take this opportunity to wish you all a happy Mother's Day. And if you're not a mother, but you're acting as a mother, if you're a single parent, I want to say happy Mother's Day to you too, because it's not an easy job. It's always challenging, and children will always test our patience. Always. But remember that they love you deeply. They rely on you, they look up to you, and they watch your every move. So I'm here to do a reading for you today. I'm doing a reading for, I want to know what the whole world needs to know. So my first card I'm going to choose from I believe it's the Archangels Oracle deck. Remember who you are. You are a powerful, loving, and creative child of God, and you are very loved. Sometimes we forget that. We forget where we've come from and what we've experienced in life. And we don't give ourselves enough credit for what we've experienced in life and what we have survived from. And a lot of people just come along and they can just slough it off, or not even care, because you can meet people that don't have any compassion at all in their heart, and that's a sad state. And I believe the world that we were living in lived that way. The more pain that a person was in, it seemed like more pain people would inflict on them, so it would keep you stuck in a cycle, and those cycles are hard to get out of, especially if you're listening to outside people and witnessing things, like be it friends or family or co-workers or even our best friends, or the group that we hang with. The next card I'm going to call is from the Art of Manifestations Oracle card, the Inner Critic. This card asks you to transform your inner critic into an inner critique. The realistic appraisal and constructive feedback of a critique will enhance your ability to step into the very best version of yourself, whereas ongoing and persistent criticism will wear you down, eroding your confidence and your belief in your abilities. So that kind of ties into what I was just talking about. Outside influences, and then our inner critic is the worst, right? People plant seeds of doubt in our mind, and off we go with it. Sorry about that. Let's get this here somehow. Stay. And then I'll pull one more from the Art of Manifestation Oracle cards deck. And it's got grace. We got grace. Look at that. See? It's all good. We just work through things. It's meant to be, right? Nothing can be perfect in life. When we sit in a relationship with grace, we see every situation through the eyes of love, fostering our desire to meet life with understanding and compassion and kindness. This card asks you to view your situation with grace. Will understanding bring compassion? How would love view your possible choices? What would kindness suggest that you do? So, I don't know what your situation is at this moment in time, but you need maybe sit with those questions, the questions. Maybe write them down. Will understanding bring compassion? And how would love view your possible choices? What would kindness suggest that you do? Be easy on yourself. That's what I would suggest. And then I'm going to pull from the Goddess Oracle deck. And we have Athena. Inner wisdom. You know what to do. Trust your inner wisdom and take appropriate action without delay. Your inner guidance will never steer you in the wrong direction. As long as you're listening to the good voices in your head, it'll never steer you in the wrong direction. You just need to follow the little nudges that your ancestors send you, or your higher self sends you, or God sends you. I know a lot of people struggle with talking about God, but God is a loving God. And over the years, thousands of years, they've taken the heart of God out of the Bible and made it so that people feared God. And that's not what God wants, When he gave out his scriptures to Moses and to all the prophets, you got to realize that God is the voice in your head. How you interpret what he says is another thing altogether. So you need to take into consideration how many thousands of years ago that the Bible was written, and the state that the people lived in. They were struggling. It wasn't like they had a Tim Hortons down the street to go to, or they had maybe you're on a disability. They didn't have stuff like that. If they broke a leg and couldn't work, their families would starve to death. They drank out of lead cups. They were poisoning their system with the very utensils that they were using to eat. So my feelings is that a lot of people that were writing and rewriting and taking out books of the Bible were not right in the head. I believe we've all suffered from mental illness right from the beginning of time because of how we were eating and how the chemicals and, like lead cups, for God's sake, drinking wine out of lead cups. The wine and the lead creates like an acid. It's a combination that's really not good for your brain at all. And the amount of food that they had to eat back then, it was far and few and in between, Some days it was a good day and some days it was a bad day. And I'm sure a lot of people from our past went hungry, and then here we are, we're dealing with maybe eating disorders, or we're dealing with fear, fear that we've carried on for generations that have no explanation to them, because we haven't been witness to wars or gunfire or whatever, but yet you still carry that fear, and I believe that's left over from a past over life. And I can't remember all the details of my past lives, but I have bits and pieces that have come forward, and if more comes forward, I will definitely go on and I'll either write it out on my papers or I'll make a video about it, because I just want to help people heal from the past. I want to help people heal their relationships with their family, with their parents, with their siblings. I'm going to pull a card from the Infinite Energies Oracle card deck. Can you see that? It's knowing. The first secret of getting what you want is knowing what you want. So do you know what you want? Do you know the goals? Do you have a plan? Have you start writing down your plan? And I'm going to pull a card from I believe it's the Oracle of the Shapeshifters deck. The three witchy sisters. The power of three. Here we are, the power of three. To me, that resonates as God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. And if you have the power of those three with you, you can do no wrong, and you can have anything that you wish and desire for. And then we have the angel of time, working too hard. Are you working too hard for your goals? When you let go and go with the flow, things tend to work out a little better, you know. All in due time. And I can take that for myself as well. I'm going to pull a card from Work Your Light Oracle cards. Work Your Light Oracle cards. If you had a question, just say yes. Say yes. Ask for more light into your life. Call in more light. I call in more light. I call in more wisdom from God, from a higher source. And then we have will. Keep going. Everything comes to you at the right time. Don't lose hope. Don't give up before your victory arrives, right? If you've been working on something, you got to keep going, even if you are facing challenges. And we have Peel, divine passion. Be honest with yourself. What's your heart's true desire? My heart's true desire is to just help people step past their fear, step past all the labels that maybe were placed on you. For me, I've had a lot of blockages and people stopping me from following my own inner guidance. You know, I'm a talker. It takes me a while to come out of my shell with people, you know. But once I come out of my shell, I just never shut up, and it's always, I've got these great ideas on how to help people, and that's just my goal. I don't want anybody suffering anymore needlessly, because I believe the human race has suffered enough, and it's time for change. And we can make that change starting with ourselves, you know, and in our own families. I'm going to pull a card from the Alice in Wonderland Oracle card deck. And it's lead the way. Be a leader. Show others how it's done. And you can help others. You're a light in the dark. You're a seer. You're a light worker. You're an earth angel. You're here to help the planet. The cycles of the moon. This card invites you to attune yourself with the rhythms of the moon. Notice how the phases of the moon affect your energy and learn to use these energetic shifts within you to enhance your capacity to be consciously co-creative in all aspects of life. I know when I get down in the dumps and in a funk, I'm learning to just go with the flow. Some days I may not put out a reading, and I appreciate your understanding and your kindness, your compassion, because reading cards and giving out that energy can be very draining. And I'm not complaining. I love doing it. But sometimes I just need to take a break. So I may not post a card reading every day. Some days I may just put on a short. Some days I may just have they call it a podcast. Mine's not really a podcast. I just talk, and I don't really show my face. And that's my choice. I'm getting there. It's not 100%, and when I'm at 100%, then I'll be done. And I don't think I'll ever be done, because I say I'll be done, but then you know for a fact something else is going to come along and spark that spirit and spark that enthusiasm again, and it's going to light a fire under your butt, and you'll be back to normal, back to your old ways again before you know it. So honor the cycles of the moon. Honor the cycles of the moon. Learn about the moon. Learn how it has an effect on you. Keep a calendar and write down the days, the days you feel good, the days you feel bad, and check out what the moon's doing. How's the weather doing? Sorry about the view, guys. There. I don't have a proper way to record. I'm using my phone, which is great for me. And the phone has been such a great thing for me. It's a really great tool to use. Don't let it take over your life though, because that happens as well. You know, you get sucked into the constant short scroll or TikTok or Instagram or Reddit, or there's just so many. Twitter. Right now I'm focused on YouTube. I'm not on Facebook, and it's been a couple years now since I've been on Facebook. And honestly, the first 2 weeks it was really hard. I wanted to go back on Facebook so bad because my family's on, my kids are on Facebook, and even though we don't talk, I could still, I mean, I talk to my youngest daughter, but it's work in progress, and everybody, our children, once they grow up, they have their own lives, and it's really hard to take off the mother mask because you're a mother always. But sometimes our kids don't want to hear what our mothers have to say, so they'll just blow us off, or think we're don't know what we're talking about, like we're talking out of our ass or something like that. So be patient with your children. They're growing into adults and they're learning their ways, and sometimes they have to learn lessons the hard way, just like we did. We can't protect them all the time. You can only give them what they need, from birth until basically now it's 10 years old, and then they're already making their own decisions. But right up by, you know, 13 or 14, and then after that they're making their own choices, and what you say basically goes in one ear and out the other, and they'll start listening to advice from their friends and their friends' mothers and so on and so forth. So I don't know if this helps you at all with what you're dealing with. I don't even know if you resonate with any of this, but I just thought that I would share how I feel, because it's Mother's Day, and Mother's Day is the most important day of all, I believe, because without mothers there'd be no creation, and without creation there'd be no life, and without life, well, if you looked around and you never saw anybody, that's what it would be like without mothers, because mothers are the creators, right? That's my thoughts. I don't know what your thoughts are. I welcome you to leave your comments, good, bad, and different, because I want to be able to have an open platform where people feel safe. And I like kind of not leering, what's the word? Bringing bullies out of the darkness, because the bullies have been hurt their whole life, and that's how they become bullies, because they were just never listened to or understood. Maybe they didn't get enough hugs, because parents have been forced to get 1, 2, 3, 4 different jobs, and the kids end up going into daycare. And a lot of us know what goes on in daycares, and my heart believes that. I believe that the mom should be able to stay home, mom or dad, at least for the first, until school starts. That's my thoughts, because I took responsibility for my kids, because I wanted to make sure that if things fucked up, it was going to be because of me and not because of somebody else, right? And I did all the traditional things with my kids, you know, reading stories and making sure they had clean sheets on their bed and food to eat and clothes to wear, that they were noticed. I mean, my little ones, when they were little, you know, watch me, Mom. Look at me, Mom. Look what I did, Mom. Kids really are seeking validation that they're on the right path, you know, from their parents. So even though our phones may take up time, if your kids come to you and ask questions, put the phone down. Put the phone down and guide your child, because you created another human being, and that human being looks up to you and respects you and watches every move you make. You know, children are like a sponge. They're just absorbing everything around them, you know, because they want to be just like us, right? They want to be self-sufficient. They want to be independent. They want to have money. They want to work hard. And I'm so proud of my kids. And they're both moms, and I'm so proud of them. I have so much is adoration a good word to use? Adoration and respect for them, for the choices that they've made, for their independence. You know, they both left home early. Not as early as I left home, but they did leave home early. And I'm proud of them for having the courage to step out into life on their own. I'm going to pull one more card for the final card for today. And yes. This is from Mystical Wisdom card deck. We have leadership again. Set your goals. So set your goals, friends. Set your goals. Do it with love. Do it with compassion. Do it for kindness. If not for others, do it for yourself. Because when you make the changes with yourself, that energy is reflected outwards to all the people that you deal with, your family, your friends, your co-workers. Be blessed. Have a wonderful day. God bless. Take care.